Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Today, we're going to be talking about updating the dating rules between men and women. Uh, there's a way for men to avoid unwanted expectations from a woman and for the woman to avoid expectations from a man on a first date. And I went through my top 10 uh, items to court and vet a woman for marriage. But one of those rules that I had was outdated. And Trey had an explanation of why it was outdated, and he had a suggestion for how we should fix it. So before we get into that, I'm going to show you a little video of that. But before I get into that, like and share this video. Like and share this video. And very important to add your comments as to whether you agree with his solution or not. And subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. This is going to be a short video, but I want you to hear what he had to say out of his mouth. The panel also agreed. And if you want to see all top 10, you can go to my channel and go back a few months to get the top 10 steps that you need to take to court and vet a woman for marriage. And so we had a good conversation about that. And I think without further ado, we're going to just let Trey tell what he says is the solution. All right, so I gave you the background. So here we go. So let me share what he talked about. Okay.
In some business.
I don't know if he said, hey, we can move on to the next one. The next one, I just threw that up there because just because, and it's kind of convoluted. What I'm really getting at here is if you're courting a woman, somebody you want to be your wife, do you really have issues paying for dates?
Finally, we get to something that's outdated. Please continue.
Okay, no, just so tell me. I don't need to. I mean, go ahead and tell me what you mean, Trey.
Well, here's the issue with dating in 2023 for those of us who are single.
No, let me say this one thing. Remember now, this is a woman that you're courting to be with for the rest
I
of your
got
life.
you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay,
I got you.
Go ahead.
The issue here is that there is a value issue when it comes to spending money on these women. Now, see, some 40, 60, 80 years ago, you had no problems taking a woman out and spending money on her because the value was worth the investment, right? You were going to get a woman who was classy, dignified, and she was sweet and caring, loyal. She understood her role. She knew what she was getting herself into, and she actually meant the vows that she was going to say at the altar before God. That is not the package that you're getting today. So you can spend the money on these women and date and court them all you want, but you are essentially overpaying for something that is losing value rapidly because they don't adhere to the same traditional standards that maybe the baby boomer generation grew up on. You're not getting the same class of woman, plain and simple, yet you are paying the same price as what would be equivalent. Obviously, there's inflation.
Yeah, I know, Trey.
But yeah, you're paying the same price. I'm still are paying. You was expected to take your wife out on a date when you were courting and vetting her, right? I'm still expected to take her out and pay for a date and courting and vetting. But the type of woman your wife is compared to the type of women that's out here today, that is not the same. That is completely different. And so this is one of the outdated pieces of advice that doesn't fit today's culture. And whereas in what should be happening is that all dates should be Dutch. All dates should be Dutch until you get to a point where this woman has been vetted properly enough that she is deemed somebody. Yeah, I'm going to go and marry this woman. And then at that point, maybe down the road, you can start to spend some money when things start to get serious. We're talking 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the road. We are not talking the first, second, third, fourth, eighth, ninth date. We're talking a way down the road. That's the difference. And that's where sometimes the advice can be outdated.
You know, okay. Anybody have on what Trey said? Anybody have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna push back on that. I agree what he's saying, but the morals I was raised, you still pay for the first date. Now, if you keep going, you're going out 3 or 4 times, and she's expecting you to pay all the time, that's where I'm gonna start raising red flags. To me, it's German like that's how, again, I was raised by my grandmother. That's old school in me. It's German like to actually pay for at least for the first date. That's all I have for now.
I would say that if that's the case, and for both. So if we're talking about dating, like what Trey was talking about, when it comes down, we just hanging out, right? We go out, eat, whatever, and it's basically Dutch or whatever it is. Now it's the same thing if we're talking about sex. If we're going to have sex, right? So my whole thing is that if it comes down to us, paying for our own meals or whatever when we hanging out or whatever, she should not have any expectations of us being on a date. Because I kind of agree with what Trey is saying. Nowadays, it should be more of you pay for your meal, I pay for mine's. We probably get the drinks or whatever, but it should be up to him when the man, when he actually will sit back and say, okay, no, I got it. It should be more of a transition, a smooth transition with it. She should not be expecting him to be paying for the dates. If I don't even think that it should even be dinner dates anymore.
Yeah,
It's all goofy as fuck right now, and I understand exactly what Trey is saying when it comes down to that, because
I'm
they're
scared, man.
expecting this.
I'm
So
scared. I almost agree with him. I almost agree with this shit myself. God damn it.
yeah, because the focus
because
is
you know what the change is. The change is the caliber of woman. That's the problem. That's
yes.
the issue here. If the caliber of woman was the same, then this point would make perfect sense, and there would be nothing for me to disagree with. But because the caliber of woman has changed over time, men have to catch up. We have to change too. And the idea here's the beauty of the Dutch date. It takes all the pressure of sex out anyway. Because you can't expect anything. Because you ain't buying them. So you don't have to worry. She doesn't even have to worry about. That's not even a conversation that needs to be had. Really, you don't even really have to talk about it. Because she's paying her own way anyway. So there's no need to even have a conversation about sex to begin with. That's the beauty of the Dutch date. And it also signifies a change in the relationship. If we're out to dinner and I say, nah, I got it, that is a humongous difference change to know, okay, this is starting to get a little bit serious because he's starting to invest his money now. There's a lot of positives to doing it this way. I don't understand why we don't do it this way.
There's another positive. The other positive is that if a woman ain't giving you flack to go out with you Dutch, that means she also just wants to be hanging out with you. Right? If she's paying and she still wants to go and she ain't complaining about that, she actually wants to be with you. Hey, Easy Money, what do you think?
Right.
Easy Money, what do you think? You got to chime in, man. You're too quiet, man.
Man, y'all gotta stop being so damn cheap, man. Like I guess I don't. All right, so a couple things. One, I refuse to believe that the caliber of women now is lower than it was back in the day when our grandmothers was twerking. Shut the fuck up. Smoking cigarettes. I ain't about to shut the fuck up because I know what I'm talking about. Like I said, the old head schooled me. Okay. Our granddaddies was out here trying to get whatever they could, and our grandmama was twerking down at the juke joint. That's just what it is, guys. So to that point,
Easy Money. Before you go on, how much of it was public? Could I see if your grandmother was twerking in California and I lived in Florida, could I see it?
I don't think that makes a difference because
it absolutely makes a difference.
It absolutely do.
Let me stop it right there. So we had 1%, but I thought Trey was absolutely on the money because with the way men feel these days about women using them for foodie dates and taking advantage of them and all of those kind of things, I think men have a right to say let's even this playing field. Let's even the playing field just a little bit, Let's keep it Dutch for a while. Now, it doesn't have to be 10 months. That kind of stuff will vary based on how you vet the woman and how she comes across. And if y'all become exclusive with each other anywhere in between there, then you can start saying, okay, let me dig in my pocket because I want to elevate our relationship. And she's reciprocating. And you've talked about a lot of things that matter to you. So this was a good thing. So you can find this whole conversation because I went through all 10 steps on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. So you can go subscribe to his channel after you subscribe to mine as well. Because I have a Monday broadcast on his channel at 6 o'clock every Monday, 6 o'clock Eastern. And, so we have different topics. And I give my perspective from a person who's a baby boomer and kind of things I saw the world back then and how I see the world now and the kind of things that impact us. This was just one of them. So you can get my top 10 on my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports, but you can have this whole full conversation where I had this Monday panel discussion with a lot of fellas on Black Man Unfiltered's channel a couple of weeks ago. So I just thought I'd take a little clip from that and share this with you, and subscribe to both channels, and we'll move on from there. R. Payne, Marriage, Politics, and Sports, over and out.